Good afternoon to all of you here in person. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for those of you that are watching online. We want to welcome you this evening to our Tuesday, June 25th, regular Board of Education, South Utica Lyndhurst meeting. It is now 5:34, Mr. Hill. May we get a roll call?
Ms. Falkenberg? Here. Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. King? Here. Ms. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Shelby?
Here. Perfect. We can go right into item 1.2. Would you all stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. I think we should try for it. Item 2, communications. Item 2.1, we will go right into the liaison reports.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a
I
long,
think everybody says thank you.
it's a long schedule, so.
Thank you so much, Ms. Falkenberg. We will hold you to it. We will look for you next
Oh,
month.
I have plenty next month. Yeah.
All right. Mrs. King, do we have a student achievement liaison report?
We do not. I will follow suit, and I will pass my report to next month.
All right, the graciousness.
Oh, wow.
We can go right into item 2.2, superintendent's report.
Okay, sorry to disappoint. I do have something. I have a few things to talk about, but it will be short. First of all, I just wanted to acknowledge that we recently had a longtime employee, Don Chilk, pass away. And I know that you can probably go in every one of these buildings and recognize some of his work. So, you know, actually his start date with the South Utica Lyndhurst Schools was June 4th, 1984. So that was a long time to be in one school district, and talking with his family, you know, that's how Don was, is they thought he would never retire, and he did what he wanted to do, and you know, we will miss him and we thank him. I personally, of the 12 years, appreciated his leadership in working with him, and I know the future leadership team did as well. Later this evening, they will be approving the 110 contract. And one thing I liked about Don, when he led the union, he definitely advocated for his union members, but he also understood the big picture of the district's needs. And I know that I appreciate that, and I know that the leadership that recently negotiated with him appreciate.
Scramble adjustments. The one up on the screen is the correct one because I noticed we did not get 2 PCRs in, which they have to be advanced, and we can't let the fund finish negative, so I hurried up and adjusted them so we could approve them tonight just to be safe. They'll probably come in tomorrow morning, but at least we're safe. Item 4.6, transfer of funds for fiscal year end 2024. Item 4.7, the final appropriations for all funds for fiscal year 2024. Item 4.8, the temporary appropriations for all funds for fiscal year 25. And then item 4.9, the approval of treasurer's reported items as presented.
May we get a motion to approve items 4.1 through 4.8?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg, Mrs. King. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Aye.
Item 5, treasurer's items.
Recommend for approval, item 5.1, the OPSI 110 contract.
May we get a motion to approve item 5.1?
So moved. Second.
Mrs. King, Mrs. Shelby. Any questions or comments? Thank you so much for the work put in at the table. Again, I will say, one thing I will say we aren't afraid to do is something different. We took a whole new organic route to that, and I think that's something to be grateful for. So thank you all for your work, and even the work behind the scenes, Dr. Reid. I mean, you weren't totally absent.
No,
So the guidance was there, and we want to say thank you.
thank you.
Hearing no further questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. King,
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
Item 6, superintendent's items.
It's moving slow today.
It was creeping earlier.
Forever. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Under 6.0, certified personnel, recommending to the Board of Education 6.1, certified staff. We have quite a few. It's that busy time of the year. I know Mr. Miller and the team have been busy, so we have some appointments. You can see teachers. We also have in the audience our new assistant principal that after we get approval, we'll introduce. And then we have school counselors. We have a few resignations. For those of you that are moving on, we wish them well in their new endeavor, wherever they are going to land. And then we have a change of assignment. Also under this section, we have renewal of administrative contracts that you'll see, paid leave of absence. We have a few renewal of one-year limited contracts. I believe these are added from, Mr. Miller, correct, from, there were a few more that we needed, that we left off that we put on for this month.
Correct.
Okay. And then we have the LPDC and extended school year. Okay. Just making sure I got it all. And then we'll keep going, hold on. 6.2, the approval of a confidential settlement agreement, and then now items 6.1 and 6.2.
May we get a motion to approve items 6.1 and 6.2?
So moved. Second.
Mrs. Shelby and Mrs. King. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
It didn't. I looked to
Yeah,
make
because
sure.
was it
But
up
it's
there?
on ours, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
up
because that's what I wanted to make sure.
there. Yes, it's on
Yes.
ours because I think she printed it from our access, but I
Okay.
didn't see it up there.
Is
I
it
made
deli-
sure of it.
So that's why I kept scrolling down. I just
Yeah.
want to make note under 6.1, we have renew of non-rep personnel contracts. We also, which I think maybe in the addition or somewhere, the assistant superintendent contract extension. So for the minutes, I want to make note of Melissa Thompson and her contract extension that is on the agenda of the board.
Are they
have.
not at the bottom?
I
Because
didn't
it's
see
just been slow catching up, so keep going up.
So I have it under
Keep
7.
going. It's right there. Keep going some more, no?
It's under 7.
It's under 7.
Oh, yeah, it's number 7.
Okay.
Never mind.
Never mind. I figure, okay, I've got ahead of myself there. All right. So we will wait till number 7. Are we good for 6.3?
We gotta vote.
Okay.
May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. Shelby,
Aye.
Mrs. King,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop there because we usually have it somewhere else. Okay. 7.1.
I was gonna
yeah.
let her
Yeah.
do,
So we're going to go back up here because I do want to do an introduction. How about we have Ms. Harris, our new brush principal, if you want to come on, step up. Introduce your assistant principal.
Madam President,
yes, ma'am.
Board, Dr. Reid, Treasurer Hill, Mr. Kaple, and to the Executive Board, it is my pleasure to introduce our new Assistant Principal, Maureen Scully Gruber. We worked together when I was principal in Mansfield. She has 16 years of administrative experience, and one of the things that I love about Scully is that she sees the humanity in administration. I have told her privately several times, but publicly, I would not have been able to make it through Mansfield without you, so I am happy that you are here now on this journey with me. So I present to you all Miss Maureen Scully Gruber.
That was beautiful, thank you. First of all, I want to thank everybody here in this room for giving me the opportunity to be at Brush. I don't know much about Brush High School, honestly, or the district, but the little that I do know that I've been hearing about is all positive. It's very exciting for me to come here to this district and to the school in particular, and you have a beautiful, beautiful building here. So I'm very much looking forward to it, to being here and working to improve whatever it is that needs to be improved for the students here to set them on their way to adulthood. I'm more than thrilled to be working again with Marnice, Ms. Harris. It was a fantastic journey at Mansfield together, and I'm happy to renew that. I'm more than happy to renew that. I don't even think I can put it into words. So I want to thank you all again. I can't wait to get started. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Reid.
Kind of multitasking here, turning pages.
We're on 7.
Yep, we're on 7, and now I think I have it right. Such a thick agenda. All right, under 7.1, non-rep personnel, we will have several appointments. It looks like a new administrative assistant to the business office. We have a few changes in assignment. These are renewal contracts, what we call non-rep personnel. So those are ones that actually, folks that are not on the administrative side. And then here we go, the contract extensions. My apologies for the mix-up. We have a couple resignation. We wish Jennifer Longo, she will be moving on. She worked for about 6 years, I believe, in the Human Resource Department. And I would like to acknowledge Mr. Dante Hayes, our Assistant Treasurer, will be moving on to another school, we'll just say neighboring school district. One of the things I told folks before is, you know, when you train people, you know, eventually sometimes if an opening comes that they might have to fly. And this is one of those opportunities where he did a great job in the SEL schools. I know in the treasurer's office, and that talent gets recognized, and it's time to move on. I know he's a community member, and so Mr. Hayes, I'll miss you as well. So wishing you luck. And
May we get a motion to approve item 7.1?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Falkenberg, Mrs. King. Any questions or comments?
I just would like to say, number one, Nicole Grozbowski has done such an excellent job over the years, and I know this is taking on new challenges for her. I so appreciate her as a person and as a professional. And also, my best for Dante. I can't tell you how many teachers have said, thank Dante for all the work he's done in the communication. So thank you.
Thank you, Dante.
Yeah, we're an office in transition, but got a couple of good moves in the right direction, and then also, obviously, we're going to feel the loss of Dante, but thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you too, Josh, to you, because he was under your tutelage. And that speaks volumes. I mean, for you to bring someone in, not that he couldn't do it, but he's brilliant as well, but to be able to groom him up and the scout of who scouted him is very noble. But Dante, if they don't treat you right, I will come back and get you. I won't call their name, but I'll be watching their board meetings too, because if they don't treat you right, I will come back and find you. So best wishes. We do still have you here in the community, so I'll run into you at all these hopefully. And congratulations to you and your next endeavor as well. Yes. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. King,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby.
Aye.
Item 8, superintendent's item.
yes, so we are, it's still moving here, so give me a moment. I think it's got it. All right. Under 8.1, recommend to the Board of Education to approve the following personnel lines for classified staff. Those are your ISAs. We have a few here. We also have an assistant custodian. There's some leaves of absence, on leave of absence. We have custodial maintenance, and I think it's great. I see a former student on there too doing some work. Miss Trace Bishko coming home, and then we have our student employees, summer technology, and some summer Chromebook support. And then 8.2 is recommending a confidential MOU for a classified staff. And then 8.3, recommending approval of classified items as presented, 8.1 through 8.2.
Are these separated for a reason, Mr. Hill, or is that just a,
I assume because they put the collapsing and Bill could probably know better, but I assume because they've had the separate 8.3 to approve both items, that it was meant to be separate, they just left the lines on the first one.
okay. May we get a motion to approve items 8.1 and 8.2?
So moved.
Ms. Lee and Ms. Shelby? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call? Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Item 9, superintendent's items?
Get ready, it's all that fall stuff going. 9.1, we have supplemental contracts. Recommend to Board of Education the following supplemental activity contracts. And you can see we have the marching band, looks like a lot of fall sports on there. And I think that's the only item under 9.1.
May we get a motion to approve item 9.1?
So moved.
Ms.
Second.
King, Mrs. Shelby. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Under 10.0 business items, 10.1 recommending approval of the Quick Bend addendum. This is for our summer school, so the Quick Bend is supplying services for our summer school that we have over at Greenview and Roland. Yep. Okay. And then 10.2, we have the approval of the additional Evolve system. This will be installed at Memorial and Brush High School. That's 10.2. We have 10.3, which is the sidearm sports. This is actually a change in the website that we use for our sports programs, so it's called sidearms. And then we have 10.4, recommend the agreement for consulting services for the transition that we are going through within the treasurer's office. And then 10.5 is approval of the business items 10.1 through 10.4.
May we get a motion to approve items 10.1 through 10.4?
So moved.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Second.
Mrs. King. Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to welcome Sandy Haffey back for the interim period we have her.
I don't think she
Again.
realized how important she is right now.
Uh-huh.
Make them buy you lunch, Sandy.
Yeah.
May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Aye.
11.0, we have academics, technology, and innovation. Okay, strap your seatbelts on. We got quite a bit underneath here. It's that time of year where we're actually approving a lot of contracts and things to make sure that we're starting off the next school year not behind. So here we go. 11.1 is our school mint. I know it was formerly known as something else, but it is actually our resources for our walkthroughs and our resources for our teachers that can access that. 10.1. 10.2, grape seed. This is to support our ELL students. Give me a moment here because I have notes. And this is Galapagos. This is our social studies curriculum for 4 through 6. How very exciting for Greenview. We have 11.4 explicit writing instruction training that we have. Then we have 11.5. We have the Ed Puz for 24-25 contract. 11.6 is the TCI for school years 24 through 27. Again, this, I believe, is the interactive social studies to support our new curriculum. Is that correct? Okay. And then 11.7, I think we've heard of iReady. We're going to continue using the iReady assessments. And then 11.8, it says Power School, but really Schoology, the term we're more familiar with, is Power School owns them. So it's renewing that part of the learning management system that we have at Schoology, which we've used before. Here we go. 11.9 is professional development for, you can see up there for the Huff Mifflin. And again, these are to support some of our new curricular programs. And then our overnight and extended field trips, a couple of these have already been taken place. Of course, our state track meet that took place in early June. I think this is actually our basketball program. They went down to Marietta. That was an exciting trip for them. And I'm glad to see that our volleyball team will have an opportunity as well in August to go somewhere.
I was happy to see that.
So that's really great. And I did, Kathryn or Ms. Falkenberg, I did grill my team on this because when we got to the athletic handbooks and all the handbooks on here, making sure that we were right, so.
I just have a few.
Well,
Just very,
team, we
very
did
minor.
better this time. We did better. So we have, again, 11.1, the SEL Athletic Handbook, 11.11, the SEL Handbook, 11.12, the Brush Vocal Music and Choir Handbook, 11.13, the Brush Marching Band Handbook, 11.14, the Memorial Junior High Vocal Choir Handbook, and then 11.5, the 2004-2005 College Now MOU. This is really nothing different. I think one of the things we talked about, Ms. Thompson, correct, is Ms. Thompson and her department have worked with it, but it just seems to streamline it to put it under the academics. And so 11.16, recommending approval of the academic technology innovation agenda items, 11.1 through 11.15.
May we get a motion to approve items 11.1 and 11.15?
So moved. Second.
Mrs. King, Mrs. Shelby.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Any questions or comments? She left out legislation for this. Come on, Kathryn.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Lay it on us.
Don't be sorry. Old school. You know, when I was back here, we had books. So I know everything's different now. So as I was reading through the different programs, it seemed like maybe there was some overlap, maybe not. And I probably have asked about Schoology 15 times, and I'm sorry, nothing seems to stick. But I just wanted to know if all of these programs are in place of books, classroom books. I understand, CCI is social studies. Ed Puzzle is specifically for Greenview. It's a learning tool, I guess, online. Correct.
So I'm going to, a few things, and I'll let Ms. Bastock answer. I'm going to assume the social studies actually is the core curriculum and usually with the core curriculums today, they not only get the books, there's usually is an interactive software, and so those are two separate line items. The other things that Ms. Falkenberg is acquiring on are those supplemental to support some of the core curriculum. Which
Ed Puzzle is. Okay. And then Envision, that's K through 8.
That's math, isn't it?
That's
Okay,
just
our
math.
program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is, it sounded like it was new.
We've had it
That was a presentation, we gave that
last year.
presentation, it's our third year.
Okay, it is our
It's
third
just
year.
Yep, that's extra professional development on there too.
Right. So I wasn't sure why we do professional development for something that has,
Because
We've
it was
had.
actually for the high school and the junior high math teacher asked for some additional support.
oh,
So we contacted with the company and they're gonna send, they got a little bit with, an instructional coach last year. and
Okay.
They liked him, so they asked for some additional support, so that's, we
I see.
contracted just for the professional development.
Okay,
That's just for junior high and high school.
yeah,
Ms. Falkenberg, sometimes too, as a former curriculum director, sometimes when you adopt a new program, you don't go through full implementation the first year.
that's true.
So
yeah.
I think sometimes, and again, not as, but sometimes the first year you don't want to overwhelm the teacher, so
Right.
you give training. And usually by year 3, you start to see a little bit more like full implementation, but you also need some more training with that too. So that could be why
I
there's.
never got professional development.
You just don't remember, Kathryn. It's you just said it. It
Not
doesn't.
AP. And then the MAP, the Growth Foundations.
So So, you know how we have high ready for K through 8?
Yes.
We did a couple presentations already. So high ready doesn't go to high school.
That's what?
It doesn't go to high school.
Oh, okay,
So that is the same as the assessment.
The counterpart.
fees for the high
got it.
school.
Okay, I think I understand.
There's a lot here this week.
Yeah.
There really is. There is a lot here.
Yeah, and then some of these, like the social studies at Memorial, does that continue, or we have to renew it every year?
I think it's, do you have 2000?
It was on that contract. It said the idea is
Did it
to
say?
Trying to get on a cycle, like when we buy a major
Okay,
divisions, we're trying to like get on some sort of cycle.
right,
We're not buying
okay,
like 7 months.
yeah.
There was
Again,
one, there was
it's-
one for 3
it's
years.
like
I have to look. There was
old
one.
school.
That's TCI.
It's TCI.
Yeah, TCI was for 3
Everything
years.
else is one.
Yes.
Everything else
Oh,
is
for
1
24
year.
to 27, done, yeah. Numbers don't register. Thank you.
Is that it? I was impressed.
Until next week. I wasn't expecting
I thought she had the whole packet. I was like, we about to be here for an hour.
And for the record, any of your adjustments to the handbooks are just grammatical? There's
They're
no
very,
substance, right?
yes,
Okay.
a comma, a space, yeah,
I'll make note.
not a big deal.
I need to let her teach English again. Just send her back. Let's go.
Telling y'all.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
There are no items under student services, but I'm sure they'll be coming shortly, right? 13.0, exceptional students. These items right here, again, as we prepare for the 24-25 school year, we do have some students that their IEP team has determined that they are outplaced, and so these are some of the contracts that we asked for approval. So we have 13.1 is the Cleveland Clinic Learner School for Autism. 13.2 is for the Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio, the PEP program. 13.3, Educational Support Group contract. 13.4, we have the Mentor Cares. It is for autism, Cardinal Autism Resource and Educational Support. Let's see, 13.5, the Re-Education Services. And then 13.6, approval of exceptional students, items 13.1 through 13.5.
May we get a motion to approve items 13.1 through 13.5?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg, Mrs. King. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Item 14, Board of Education. 14.1, information. Is there any information board members might have? Do we have council last month? Do we have council last month? Who had council meetings?
I did.
Kathryn was the final one.
I
You
did.
But
Yeah,
you-
but I-
You sent it to them? They responded to you?
Yes, thankfully Kelly got back to me and said she couldn't open it, so I did learn how to go onto Word. Move my information to
I
Word,
can't.
so, yeah.
Okay.
So I think they both got it, yes.
Okay. And who's got June? Or are we already?
July.
July. Are we out in July? You're supposed to know this stuff, Erin.
I go to South Euclid. When is theirs?
So we have on deck for July is you, Erin, on July 8th for South Euclid, and you on July 1st for Lyndhurst City Council.
I'm both of them?
Yes, ma'am.
July 1st and what day?
July 1st at 7:30 for
Who's that?
Lyndhurst, and July 8th at 8 p.m. for South Euclid.
Josh and I talked with the team, a lot of people are on vacation, and so we're looking to cancel the July work session.
Yes,
Okay.
I think we were
I
gonna
thought that
approach
was
that.
already-
We didn't memorialize it.
Oh, we never
until-
Just-
agreed to
yeah.
it, okay. So I have July 1st is Lyndhurst.
Yes, ma'am.
At 8.
7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Lyndhurst is something.
7:30.
Yeah.
And then the 8th of July, first South Euclid at 8 p.m.
You don't even have to report.
We haven't been there for a month. so
If Kathryn sent the report last month, I don't have anything to report.
Can we just close down the school year, please? Because we're already
Well, I
not there
did.
in August.
Yeah, I gave a lot of the
So
details about.
please, can we go? Because I'm not trying to be funny, but no one went in January for South Euclid. No one went in February. No one went in March.
Really?
That's not
April.
true. I went.
You did not go because
Yes,
you were.
I did.
You didn't let me get to April. You had April. And it says both dates are our school board meetings. Send report to Keith.
Oh, you said we didn't go to South Euclid?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been there.
So we need to
in
go in
years.
July, and don't say that. We need to go there. So if we can get there in July,
July 8th is done?
July 8th.
I can
Because
go.
we have no meeting in
I'll tell
August.
Kelly I won't make Lyndhurst, but I'll go to South Euclid.
We have no meetings in August, and then we pick up September for you,
I've got
Kathryn.
September again.
And September is the 3rd due to Labor Day.
You all send me
Yeah,
anything you
right.
have, please.
All right.
I'm in December.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. And Crystal is double down with October and November.
Oh,
So get ready for that. Any other information? No. Any new and unfinished business?
well, is it okay to ask how the, our summer program is going?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
discussion and information.
Sure.
Go ahead,
Absolutely.
ask.
I want to know. How's it going? How are we doing as far as number of kids and?
So either Ray or Dom? Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, actually, I visited both buildings, the OMT was over, Adam as well. The attendance, I went over with Tammy Bishko to Greenview, actually Monday, week before I was over at Roland. Hats off to the staff, and the students. First day was funny, to be real, you know, the whole attendance piece on the first day was interesting. Lots of phone calls, lots of reminders, lots of, and it was good because we gave them a deadline of Wednesday, to get there, because now we had a waiting list.
Right.
And from there, we hit the waiting list. Happy to report by Monday, everybody, our attendance was extremely high. Talked with Ms. Buchanan a little bit over at Greenview, and she's requiring all of the students each day to pass a minimum of one lesson on iReady, which is all individualized based off how they've been doing. So far so good. And Mr. Williamson, the breakfast and the lunches have been fantastic for our kids, as well as the transportation. So it's been really nice. So far so good. And as I've said for the last 4 years, and thank you Dante and Mr. Hill for this year, we had a 3-year plan originally with Summer Academy, and we used the ESSER dollars, which were set aside for those. This year we're able to use ESSER along with Title I dollars with Dante and Ron Johnson really maneuvering some things for us. And then next year, so we're able to go the entire full day like we've done the last 3 years. Next year will be even cut down even more. And again, that's just based off the funding. But I know Tammy already has a game plan on what students we're going to prioritize based off need, based off assessment scores. So far so good.
Good.
What about the high school summer program? Who would know about that?
So, yeah, so Ron Johnson, he does it's all online.
No, 9 this year, right, and how is
He
that
has to
being?
support them.
Okay.
But he monitors them and makes sure they're, hopefully we get some summer grads and
Okay.
some fair recovery.
And this is the first year we've offered it for free? Oh, okay. I was confused.
We might be changing.
Carl said
We might
that.
be changing the free part
Oh, Mr. Williamson?
next year.
Thank
On the
you.
high school piece.
Or a little trick, yeah,
Okay.
I
Any
know.
further discussion or information?
Nope.
Crystal, how's the new Band Boosters president going?
Good.
Good.
Who's the new
He's
Band Boosters
transitioning in.
Oh, shut the front door. Oh.
He's transitioning in pretty good, okay. He's passing the training course?
So far.
Okay, we'll keep him uplifted. So that is good. 14.3, Board Policy, first reading. Superintendent presents the following policies for first reading and preliminary review. Board of Education will be asked to vote to adopt these policies at the board meeting held on July 23rd. We are looking at policy, there are revisions, 8600, 8600.04, 8640 and 8650. So if you all have any questions about those, first cross-reference your Neola, see where they are, and then if you have any questions, we'll open those up and make sure we talk about those before we get them on the meeting for the 23rd. 14.4, board policy adoptions. South Utica Lyndhurst Board of Education approves the following board policies. They were previously presented for first reading and preliminary review. The following policies were presented previously for first read on May 21st at that board meeting. We are looking at, again, our revisions, 2623, 2623.02, 3102.04, 3140, 4140, 5310, and 5771. May we get a motion to approve item 14.4 and 14.3?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. King, is that Ms. Falkenberg? Any questions or comments?
Just for 14.4, not for.
Yes, 14.4.
If I may make a comment on
Yes,
on
ma'am.
policy 5771, that the search and seizure one, the other ones, revisions are pretty much changes that the legislation made. I think with 5771, Mr. Kaple, right, we worked with our attorney because, you know, there was some nuances that we wanted to address within our own district, especially with the approval of the Evolve system where the weapons detector coming. So that is, you probably read it, but if you want to, I would suggest that everybody read it, and especially, you know, our principals and things like that, because it is a little bit of a change, and we feel pretty good about the stuff that we put through. So just make a note of that.
Thank you for that clarity, Dr. Reid. Hearing no further questions or comments, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Item 14.5, Superintendent's Contract. The South Utica Lyndhurst Board of Education moves to approve the contract for the new superintendent, Mr. Dominick Kaple. May we get a motion to approve item 14.5?
So moved.
Mrs. King and Mrs. Shelby. Any questions or comments?
Can I give him my phone now?
No. You have a few, you have about a few more weeks. No, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Kaple. I think it has been an honor to see you matriculate through this process.
Thank you.
I thank your team for supporting you. Get ready for the ride. August 1st, Ms. Thompson. It's all on your lap. You gotta hold him down. And thank you so much for allowing us to continue to serve you and for you to be able to serve our community. And we want the support. We win because you win. We will not lose on your watch and vice versa. So
Appreciate that.
on behalf of the board, I think we all say, welcome aboard, stand strong, and in your famous words, let's go. All right. May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mrs. King?
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Item 14.6, amendment to the treasurer's contract. South Utica Lyndhurst Board of Education moves to approve the amendment to the contract of the treasurer. May we get a motion to approve 14.6?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg. Any questions or comments?
I just have a few words I would like to say. That's it, I'm just joking.
Well, I
Thanks for all your hard
say
work, Josh. All
thank you
seriousness,
as
thank
well.
you. Thank you for putting up with me. I appreciate you greatly.
I appreciate you as well, Mr. Hill. I will say from my point of view, I don't speak for everybody as a whole, but to extend a contract does not come lightly to me. You don't see them often. I think they are a reciprocated show of commitment, dedication, approving of hard work, and you don't pass them out like Skittles. So I thank you so much for that. And I appreciate it.
just for that.
I appreciate that. And I know Ms. Thompson is not in our section, but the same goes to you as well. I know that was under Dr. Reid's tutelage of the part of the board, but again, contract extensions, I think they do reciprocate the support. So I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any further comments?
I don't want to skip.
Maybe we get a roll call, Mr. Hill.
Miss Lee,
Aye.
Miss Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. King,
Aye.
Mrs. Shelby.
Closing items, do we have any public comment, Mr. Hill? I don't believe I've seen any. Hearing none. We do not have a need for executive session. And I did forget in the new board information, so the July 16th work session will be canceled. We're calling that now. So for the month of July, we will have only the one meeting. And then as we spoke at that retreat on Saturday, we'll work on next year transitioning when we get that end of the year meeting to get those other meetings in line. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight. May we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you for joining us online. We will see you next month, and like, share, and subscribe. All in favor?